Hello guys and girls, I hope you all are well and good. My name is Nishant and welcome to the NCERT lecture series on Edu4 IES YouTube channel. This lecture I would be discussing the class 7th NCERT. The class 7th NCERT. Till now we have studied 6th NCERT of civics or so-called polity. But starting with the first chapter of class 7th at NCERT, the chapter name is on equality. The chapter starts saying that this word equality is the essence of democracy. It is the key feature of democracy. It influences the functioning of the democracy. If every person, irrespective of religion, irrespective of caste, irrespective of gender, irrespective of place of birth, will be treated equally, will be given equal rights, and with the same intensity, then it would ensure that there is a democracy. If I try to summarize the chapter, NCERT है, हम UPSC के कैंडिडेट्स हैं तो हम समरी ही पढ़ेंगे उसकी. We won't get into the stories mentioned in it. The story, however, is regarding a lady named Kanta, and she is standing in the line to vote. She gets happy to see that her employers are also standing in the same line, but when it comes to the illness of her daughter, she realizes that these classes do not need to stand in the queues when they are ill. So, comparing both the situations, she gets an ambiguity. Do seriously I am equal to them or not? So I won't discuss the story over here. मैंने आपको जिस्ट दे दिया है स्टोरी का. The chapter says, the NCERT says, equality. It can be divided. The chapter equality can be divided into 3 parts. The first is the equal right to vote. The second is other types of equality, and equality in democracies. Equal right to vote. The chapter mentions that we have universal adult suffrage भी कह सकते हो आप इसको फ्रेंचाइजी भी कह सकते हो. This means every adult here means the one who is of 18 or more than 18 years of age, irrespective of any, universal means irrespective of any caste, religion, economic background, political background, anything. Everybody has equal right to vote, and the value of their vote will be equal. So in that case, there is equality. But when the chapter jumps to the other subtopic, other types of equality, it mentions about caste system. Caste system. What caste do you belong from? If I go back to the history of the caste system, this caste system has been made, the origin of the caste system is on the basis of the type of work. Earlier, what used to happen was your type of work used to decide your caste. But the time has changed. Now the caste decides your type of work. Acha, you belong from Shudra. Acha. So we have a vacancy for PN. Acha, you belong from Brahmin. We can think to make you CEO of the company. The type of caste, the kind of caste decides your type of work. However, the origin was that the work, the type of work you used to do, the type of work you used to do decided your caste. So in this, there are two stories discussed. The one is of Om Prakash. It is based upon Dalit. Dalit means broken. It mentions about Dalit. Dalit actually means broken. The community, Shudra community, people think that Shudra hai, Dalit hai, low class people. If that Almighty hasn't make any difference, who are you to make difference? Can you compare yourself from that Almighty? You don't have guts to speak in front of your anybody, any person, and you think you can challenge the uniformity of gods, the uniformity which it has created. So all this caste system, this communities have been made by us. A person has made. He hasn't mentioned any caste. He hasn't mentioned any religion. Nowhere. So there are two stories. The one is of Om Prakash, who is a Dalit student, and he wasn't allowed to sit in the school. The story is similar to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Sahab. The second story is of Mr. and Mrs. Ansaris, who are struggling to find a home or a house or a flat in the urban city. So this caste system is not only in the rural region, but as well as the urban region. Just because they think that they will eat non-vegetarian, so none of the tenants allow them to rent. The tenants agree to rent their house to Ansaris. So ultimately the broker suggests them, but sir, you will have to change your surname. So caste system. So there are two stories mentioned. Now this caste system actually impacts the dignity of the person. What this inequality does is it impacts the dignity of the person. Dignity, मेरी मर्यादा, मेरी रिस्पेक्ट, उसको हार्म करता है. जिसके साथ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन हुआ उसकी डिग्निटी को रिस्पेक्ट करता है, और जिसके साथ जिसने डिस्क्रिमिनेशन किया उसकी ईगो को बढ़ा देता है, और एक गैप बढ़ता जा रहा है. So this caste system impacts the dignity of the person, dignity, assuring to all the citizens, fraternity, है ना, preamble, fraternity, brotherhood, assuring the dignity to the individual. Where is the dignity? Sir, this caste system is violating the constitution. Not only the constitution, rather the essence of the constitution. The summary, preamble में क्या लिखा है? Dignity of the individual, वो हम कर रहे हैं. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का हार्म होना तो अलग बात, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का वायलेट होना अलग बात है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के एसेंस को वायलेट कर रहा है. तो इट impacts the dignity, their dignity is violated. The chapter further comes on equality in democracies. It talks about equality in Indian democracy and other countries. In other countries, it gives an example of United States of America. In India, if I talk about Indian democracy, it talks about the constitution. कि what our constitution ensures. This is important. कि what our constitution being the fundamental law of the land, what constitution says, what law says. So it is mentioned that the constitution says that there is equality before law. Article 14 of the constitution. Equality before the law. Everyone is equal before the law. The second, it mentions about Article 15. It says no discrimination on the basis of caste, religion, race, sex and place of birth. Further, it mentions about Article 16. No, Article 15 only, sorry. Same Article 15, one of the provisions of the Article 15. It says nobody can prohibit you from going to any public places, any restaurant, any malls, just on the basis that you belong from a different caste, that you belong from a different religion. And the fourth, it mentions about untouchability, prohibition of untouchability. Prohibition of untouchability. Further, it says that Indian democracy or the equality in Indian democracy has been ensured through constitution. We have discussed the points, the 4-5 points, and also through schemes. One of the scheme is midday meal. Now it is known as PM Poshan scheme. So this midday meal has led to two benefits. दो फायदे हुए इसके दो फायदे हुए. The first is that the parents don't need to worry about their children's diet. Parents don't need to worry about the children's diet. Like earlier, what used to happen was the student used to come back from the school, from the sarkari school, and the lady of the house वो अपना काम छोड़कर आती थी and she has to cook food for that बच्चा. बट अब वो टेंशन नहीं। दूसरा जो फायदा हुआ है दैट इज इक्वालिटी, बिकॉज पीपल फ्रॉम ऑल कास्ट, ऑल रिलीजन, दे सिट टुगेदर एंड ईट. And one more important point is that the food, it is ensured by the government, or the government tries that the food is cooked by a Dalit woman. However, there were several instances earlier that when parents used to say, Dalit woman ही बनाएगी खाना, we want it, we are Brahmin, we are Kshatriyas, we want it from the food which Dalit has made. अरे मूर्ख, when you have the same amount of money and the Dalit has the same amount of money in his pocket, still you are into caste system. The Dalit person can afford the same thing which you can afford. So where is the difference? There is a difference. Your student, your children and his children are studying in the same school. We are Brahmins and we are Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. So Dalit women will cook the food. So the quality Indian democracy is ensured by the constitution and by the schemes. If I come to issue of equality in USA, so there is an example nahi, it is a part of history that Africans who had a dark complexion were usually discriminated on the basis of race, on the basis of complexion. You are black, you are white. And then a civil rights movement was ensured, and a Civil Rights Act was formed in 1964 in USA. So डेमोक्रेसी में इक्वालिटी होना ज़रूरी है. इंडिया में किस तरीके से की वो हमने पढ़ा, यूएस में किस तरीके की प्रॉब्लम आई वो हमने पढ़ा. कास्ट सिस्टम से जो इनइक्वालिटी होती है उससे क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं. हाँ, अगर राइट टू वोट की बात करें तो उसमें फिर भी इक्वालिटी है. सो इक्वालिटी एज पर द स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ क्लास 7 हैज बीन कवर्ड टू अ वेरी गुड एक्सटेंट. आई नो being an aspirant of UPSC, this is not enough, but I had to limit my lecture keeping in view the text of the chapter. Fine. So that's all in this lecture. See you in the next lecture with the second chapter of class 7th. By then, take care, keep working hard.